So I was wondering, when you were young, did any of you have parents who were really overprotective and who always, the rationale for everything was, it's not you we don't trust, it's everyone else.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? I didn't know that would get cheers. So when I was 21, I was driving back to my parents' house. I was about an hour away, and I got a flat tire. And I did everything I was supposed to. I called AAA, I got the tire fixed. I guess I called my mom at some point in there and told her what was happening. And then I get back on the road and I'm driving home. No big deal. And I look in my rearview mirror and I see a car that looks oddly similar to my mom's car. And like, she didn't have a popular car. It's like a maroon colored Buick Rendezvous. Anyway, so I look a little closer. It is my mom. And this is before cell phone GPS or anything. She had driven the hour, parked at an exit, waited until I passed, and then got behind me so she could trail me home. Yeah, because it wasn't me she didn't trust. It was everyone else on the road. Right? And I'm like, Mom, like, you don't need to protect me. You don't need to save me. So I made this pact with myself that once I graduated college, I wanted to be both financially and physically independent from my parents. So basically, I needed a job and I wanted to move. So in college, I did everything right. Like, I was a nerd who went to a professor's office hours just because. And the second week of class, I'm sitting in my Econ 101 500-person lecture, and the professor calls on me by name. Luckily, no one could see how red my face turned because I was in the front row. So I never missed a class. I didn't drink till I turned 21, and I studied economics partially because I do like math and finance, but mostly because I thought it would make me more marketable for a job after college. Okay, so senior year of college, I start submitting my resume to on-campus interviews, and I was getting lots of interviews. I think the final total was like 36, but I didn't get a single job offer. So then you start to question yourself, like, clearly they like something on paper, so it's something about me that they don't like. So then, as any econ major would do, I did some A/B testing. You change one variable to see if it affects the outcome. So I'm like, well, if I wear my glasses, do they think I'm smarter? Or if I smile less, do they like me more? And apparently I had a record number of job interviews because the career services department asked me to be on a panel to explain to the juniors how the process went, and I'm like, that's very flattering, but I should probably have a job offer before I decide to be on this panel, right? So I'm killing myself, I'm flying to some second round interviews only to find out I'm not getting any jobs. So, I'm trying so hard, I'm working really hard to make my escape plan a reality. And then I meet Jeff. Oh, 5'8", scrawny, curly hair. Just how I like him. And Jeff was the complete opposite of me. He only occasionally went to class. He drank, he smoked, he was perfect. He was just what I needed to divert my attention from this terrible interview process. And dating him was a choice that was mine. Like, not my parent, mine. Like, you can trust me. And Jeff knew we were different, and he never pressured me to do anything that made me feel uncomfortable. Until he did. He asked me to smoke pot. And no one had ever asked me that before. And that may not seem like a big deal to most of you, but to me, I had only just started drinking when I turned 21. And I don't even know if it counts, because I was drinking amaretto sours. Like, legally, is that even alcohol? I don't know. So, obviously, the answer is no. And he keeps asking me, and I keep saying, it goes against everything about me at that time. And I keep saying no. Why I didn't break up with him at this point, I have no idea. I should have known that Jeffs with a G were gonna be trouble. So you know what I'm talking about. So he stops multitasking. I think we get over it. It's all fine and good. So that April, Jeff invites me to his parents' house in Connecticut for Passover. And he invites me, and his parents are super welcoming, and his dad gives me this big, warm hug when I get into his house. I'm like, yay, they like me. And his dad says to me, I have a present for you. And I'm thinking, that's unconventional, but okay, like maybe it's a mug or a t-shirt or something for graduation. But he hands it to me, and it's much smaller than that. It's this square, like light pink box with a bow on it. And I don't know, so I open the thing very slowly to reveal my present. It's a joint! And he and Jeff are just standing there with the same goofy grin. I'm sorry, but this is not the Passover offering I was expecting. So I'm like, obviously, are they out of their mind? So I get back to campus and I start to reassess things. And you would think I would reassess things with my relationship. No. I start to reassess things with myself. Like, okay, I've been on 36 job interviews. I haven't gotten a single job. I do have a boyfriend who wants to spend more quality time with me, even if it means we both have to be high. So I make a pro and con list, probably in a spreadsheet of the pros and cons of smoking pot. I'm like, well, I guess one time won't hurt, right? And I give in. And I don't hate it. We don't use the joint. I wouldn't have even known how to hold the joint. We use some sort of bong, which I probably couldn't pick out of a lineup. But anyway, I don't hate it. And I remember Jeff says to me, I'm glad you didn't get all neurotic. Like, thanks, Jeff. I did get all hungry, though. I asked him to make me bagels. Not buy me a bagel at the bagel place that was right downstairs. No, make me bagels. Needless to say, I did not get bagels that night. So I go to bed, I wake up. The next day, I surprisingly feel fine. Like, no hangover, no remorse, all is good, I'm going about my day. I go to get the mail, and I have a letter in the mail from Fannie Mae, which is a company I had interviewed for 3 months before. And I assumed it was your standard, thanks but no thanks, we went in another direction letter. So I'm like, whatever. So I rip the thing open, and the first word is, congratulations. And I'm like, finally! All of these months of hard work have paid off. Like, I can speak on that panel now. I'm so excited. Like, oh, all of these interviews, it's about time. And I keep reading the letter. Like, we'd love to offer you a position at Fannie Mae. Your start date will be August 4th, 2003. This will be a 2-year position, yada, yada, yada. You need a drug test this week. So I go into full-on panic mode. It doesn't even occur to me to go to Jeff, like pot expert extraordinaire. No, who do I call? Who do I need to save me? I call Mom. So I explain the whole situation to her, and she's in hysterics on the other end of the phone. She's like, for this, I sent you to college? And I'm like, great, like, now it's not everyone else she doesn't trust, it's me. And so, I'm panicking. I've now disappointed my parents. She now thinks she has a delinquent daughter, but both of us don't want me to get fired from my job before I even start, right? So we hang up, and a few days later, I check my mail again, and I have this, unmarked box in the mail, and I open it, and I don't even know what it is. And I get a phone call from my mom that day, and she goes, did you get what I sent? And I'm like, what is it? She goes, oh, I bought a bunch of them. I sent you some practice drug tests. So I have these illicit home drug tests coming in the mail every day. And look, my mom's never smoked either. So it's the naive leading the naive-er here. And so every day I'm getting these things. And look, I don't know how to practice for a drug, like an econ exam. Cool. Like, I can study supply and demand curves. A practice drug test? Like, I don't know what to do. Do I drink water? Do I eat asparagus? Do I pray? I don't know what to do, right? So they keep coming. So every day it's my new routine. I go to class, I drink a bunch of water, I pee on the drug test stick that Mom sent, rinse and repeat, right? Meanwhile, this was a very risky move. I call Fannie Mae and I say, thank you so much. I'm weighing it against another offer. I'm gonna need a few days. And by the way, the drug test place, they can't take me for a few weeks. Somehow I bought myself a month. So that month I drank water like that was my job. And after 2 more of the mom illicit fake practice drug P-tests, I went into that Fannie Mae drug test and I passed. And so I graduated. I broke up with Jeff. I moved to DC. Yay for breaking up with Jeff. I moved to DC. I worked at Fannie Mae for over 7 years. And then I thought that was exactly the freedom and the escape I needed. But then I took it to the next level. Almost 9 years ago, I quit that job at Fannie Mae, and I now work for myself. And heck, thanks. I could smoke pot every day and no one would care, right? So my parents are still overprotective, but interestingly enough, as they get older, I find that I now worry about them just as much as they worry about me. But to this day, my mom and I, ever since I passed that Fannie Mae drug test, she and I have never spoken of this experience again. Thank you.